very good evening, everyone. We invite you all to join this enriching Caprics Edu Talk that we explore the power of storytelling in parenting and how schools can support this vital practice. Storytelling is a powerful tool that shapes our understanding of the world, particularly in parenting and education. It allows us to connect, inspire, and convey complex ideas in a relatable ways. As children engage with stories, they develop empathy, imagination, and critical thinking skills. Our guest, I don't want to introduce you, but still, Ms. Janaki Sabesh is a master storyteller whose work resonates across generations. With a unique ability to blend narration, music, and movement, she captivates the audience ranging from the children to corporate professionals. Ms. Janaki's journeys began in 1995 with the production of The Learning Train, an audio cassette that made learning about numbers engaging through stories and songs. A simple question from a child inspired her first picture book, The Jungle Storytelling Festival, published by Tuliga Books and now available in 9 different languages. Her second book, Pati's Resum, you can see at the back, co-authored with her daughter Miss Dhoni, won the 2023 National Jarul Book Award for Indian Picture Books. Her creative repertoire also include Appu, the Thirsty Crow, and Mugi and the Rainbow, along with contributions to Tingle magazines. Beyond her writing, Ms. Janaki wears many hats. An accomplished actress in over 30 films, a voiceover artist, a marketing expert, and the chief fund officer for her storytelling initiative, Golpo Tales. She leads workshops on effective storytelling for educators and corporate professionals, sharing her insights at institutions like Great Lakes Institute of Management. Ms. Janaki believes that a story told from heart will always win more hearts. Today, we delve into how her passion for storytelling can enrich both parenting and educational practices. We Caprics are very happy and delightful to welcome you, ma'am. Welcome, Janaki, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Pavita. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so we all know you as Gilli Amma. Many will call you. I know that you have given in the interviews, like in the airport, everywhere, Gilli Amma, and we love the movie. You are acting everything. So, from Gilli Amma to Janaki Auntie, the storyteller, you have made an incredible shift into the world of storytelling. What inspired you pursue storytelling as both as a passion and a profession?
So, thank you, Caprics Lab and Pravita, for having me here as part of your EduTech series. And thank you, everyone who's tuning in and who will watch it later. Gilli Amma is something that I'm extremely proud of because I think the re-release just a couple of months back showed that there's so much of love and affection for Gilli Amma, not just the hero and the heroine, but also the hero's Amma. And which is why I'm fondly known as the Gilli Amma, and people, that has become my identity. But having said that, as you navigate through life and as you figure out what else you want to do. I mean, I was in a corporate career, and after almost 23 years, I left it in 2019 because I realized that I want to do something where there is, I can see the people whom I perform for, or cinema and all. You do get recognition, but then imagine that you're actually getting an instant gratification from the children, and they come and hug you, they come and say, we love the story, or they ask you very, very important questions, something which even you as adults, it would have not struck us. So I said, there's a joy in doing that. And then I said, I've had enough of a corporate career. Let me try and see what I can do. I mean, I did not straight away jump into storytelling. It was already there. But as I was balancing a corporate career, cinema and storytelling was always for the weekends, on Saturday, Sunday. And, I started with just 2 children in this house. And they used to come, and I used to feel very happy just sharing stories and maybe drawing something after that. And then I realized that I get so much joy. I also equally loved my corporate life. I loved selling a product called digital cinema, and it was very challenging. I had a big team. I still keep in touch with all my team members, and some of my clients still call me. But I said that I need to do something more, and that's when I took this plunge and I said, let me try doing something different. And then storytelling was on top of the chart, and I said, okay, now I'm available to go to schools. I'm available to tell stories through the week. It doesn't have to be only in the weekends. And that is how I put all my trust, and I put a lot of effort. I mean, I continue to put in a lot of effort, and I put in a lot of faith in the process of storytelling, and I think it has really paid off. But remember, 2019 September, I left my job, but 2020 was COVID. So
Yeah.
imagine that 2019 to 20. I had a job in a startup as a chief storyteller, but then that did not take off because immediately March 2020 COVID. But then that's when this most amazing thing happened. My collaboration with a young couple, Avanti Natarajan and Rajavel, because of their daughter. I think that time she was about 4, and she used to come. Veera used to come for my storytelling sessions, and because of her, I got in touch with them, and they started coming to all my storytelling sessions, and they run a very beautiful organization, an initiative called Little Trails. And on March 17th, I still remember, when the entire nation was going on a lockdown, I was wondering, what is this? Why are schools? Because we didn't know much about COVID and Corona. We just knew that there was some new virus. I asked them, and I reached out to them and asked them whether we can go online just for 15 minutes every day. Because suddenly, in the middle of March, when children are getting ready for exams, schools are closing. How do you explain to the children? I mean, they're already confused. Parents were trying to figure out how to keep them, at home. So that's when I went on Instagram Live, and we had so much fun. I think 17 days non-stop. Every day we were from 5 o'clock to about 5:30, 5:15 for one story, then artwork, something. We kept the children engaged. And even to this day, when I go out and I meet random people, they said that, ma'am, thank you so much for doing that, because it really helped us engage our children and at least put them in front of the screen. I started storytelling because I didn't want children to look at the screen. I wanted them to listen. But then circumstances push us to do, make us to do something beyond what is already given and what is already there. So I think that from that day, there was no turning back, Pravita, because I looked back and I said, okay, now I've jumped into this. And then I started embracing every single opportunity that came my way, be it schools, be it colleges, be it corporates, Women's Day program or something.
Children's Day, Teachers Day.
Yeah. So things like this happened, and I'm like, okay, this is something interesting, and I need to. And I was loving it. The most important thing is you need to love what you're doing. Otherwise you won't. We all have passion. We all have something called a professional career, something. But then when passion is also your career, and it's a new kind of career. Imagine after so many years, I'm discovering a whole new career, and I'm like saying that, okay, it can also become my profession. So why not? So I think the whole the joy of seeing the children's faces light up when you talk about stories, when you talk about animals, when you talk about any plot, and the simplicity with which they come and hug you, or even tell you that, auntie, I didn't like the story. Why did you say that? Or I already know the story. If they already know the story, I have to still continue, no?
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
it teaches you
Yeah,
a whole lot of
exactly.
lessons.
Yeah,
You don't have to go to a business school. They
yeah,
teach you.
exactly.
So yeah,
Mm.
so that's how it started, and it is thus remained.
Thank you so much for sharing your inspiring story, ma'am. And it shows that how much you're fond of children. But not only children are enjoying, I have seen the faces of the people when you were telling the story. Parties, there somehow they were enjoying despite of their age. Then, and you have told us that how it is inspiring to see that how passion can transform into a meaningful career. Thank you so much, ma'am. So next one, ma'am, with such a diverse and rich career in cinema, how have your experiences as an actor shaped and influenced your approach to storytelling?
So very recently, I got a mail from somebody in Madurai, and he actually said that I really loved the way you tell stories, and I love how you bring different aspects of acting in your storytelling. See, till somebody tells and points out that I love being natural. If you look at Gilly, I just played
Mm.
myself. I did not
Yeah.
have to play a character which is alien to me and all. I am someone who exaggerates everything. My father was a great storyteller, so he used to exaggerate one small thing. He'll make it into a big, beginning, middle, and end, just like how we all narrate stories. So obviously, I am my father's daughter, so. Both me and my sister, we love telling stories, and we are loud, and we like the attention on us. Let me be frank,
Okay.
huh? And then
Okay.
that's when I realized, when I saw this mail, that people are noticing, because see, you
Mm.
also learn how to emote. You also learn comic timing, right?
Yeah,
Because the
yeah,
camera,
exactly.
you have to interact with an actor, and you
Mm.
have to react to something. Then you have to make sure that the light catches. So you become very conscious, but at the
Mm.
same time, you have to be a natural,
Yes,
especially in
exactly.
storytelling. See, if I am
Yeah.
narrating the story of the lion and the mouse, it's something that
Yeah.
everybody knows. It's
Yes.
everybody knows, or the thirsty group. But I, when I narrate it, I have to see the line in front of me. I see that happening in front of me. I see the scene in front of me.
Okay.
Because I see the scene in front of me, you're able to see the scene also. I have to
Exactly.
live this. It's very
Yeah.
important. So I think the aspects of acting just seeps in, and it becomes a part of me. So when I exaggerate, and when I make these huge voices, or change my voice, or sing, or do something, people are able to see maybe parts of my
Mm.
acting also.
Actually, a modern acting, I feel like, it is in your blood from father to daughter, and you are passing to your daughter as well, Miss Dhoni. She's also. So it's like, it's in gene or blood, I can say. And it's very fascinating to see the interplay between these two art forms you have managed, both acting and storytelling. Okay, ma'am. So you have authored several wonderful picture books, each on with its own unique theme, is loved by children and parents alike. What was your inspiration behind the well-loved character Ostru, the ostrich?
So this was in 2017, I think. I started my initiative, as you had given in the introduction, shared. It's called Golpo Tales.
Yeah,
I grew up
yeah,
in Kolkata. So Golpo
yeah.
means
Stories.
story
Yeah,
in Bengal.
stories.
So
Yeah.
I wanted that as the name of my initiative, and at that time I was still working in the corporate,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I used to share these stories just for a very very small group of children. They, word of mouth, two became four, four became eight, and about 10
Mm-hmm.
12 children who used to come to a school nearby, and every second Sunday we used to meet, and I used to share stories. One of the
Okay.
Sundays, little boy Samarth, he stopped me and he said, "Auntie, next class I want ostrich story." So I said, "Yeah, sure, no." So I came and went on to Google and tried to figure out, is there a story, because I didn't know any ostrich story, but nothing no story was catching my attention, or something that I would like telling. So I went back and told Samath in the next class that, sorry, Samath, I don't have any story for ostrich. I'll tell you some other story. And immediately he said, you don't have an ostrich story? You write it. Why don't you write it? I was taken aback. And at that time, the storyteller in me said, I'm a storyteller. No, I should be able to write. But it's not that easy. I had so many drafts. I wrote and wrote. See, it's a picture book. And the picture book is a delicate balance between pictures and text. So how much of a picture will you have? How much importance will you give a text? What is it in the picture that you can show that you need not write in a text? So all this took a lot of time. I also underwent. I participated in a writing course, a workshop by Shobha Vishwanath and Anushka, and there, I was able to thrash, and they were able to tell me that this is what the balance. It was a 3-day workshop. It was brilliant, and then out of that, this story came on, and I sent this manuscript to Tulika, and they loved it. They suggested a few edits and changes, and that's how Ostru was born. Because Samarth did give me the title also. He said, call it Ostru. I mean,
Okay.
this was not when I took almost a year and a half, but in 2018, the book was released.
Okay. Samad, right?
Mm.
The student, yeah. Thank you, Samad, on
Yes.
this live, I'm saying, because we got a
I,
beautiful story. Yeah.
really big now, but if Samath is watching or his mother is watching, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we are
I
also
love
thankful
telling
to
the story.
you and Samad and Janaki ma'am for wonderful story because um, the stammer, like I want to say like ostrich, ostro, right? I'm happy, ma'am, I'm happy. So like, despite of stammering, it is showing that an inclusion that how he can express through songs, like how he ended up saying the story, how his neck became big, long and all. And also, this is a part of this, the Jungle Storytelling Festival, the storybook, right, ma'am? So there also, it's untold version of the characters also showing, like how the monkey is saying the story, and the hare want to tell the story of his side, and the lion was saying the story. So that untold part also you were showing it. It is amazing to watch, listen you, and also reading the story. Okay, ma'am. Then coming to the next one. Grief can be challenging topic for young children to understand. One of the lots of emotions they will go through, but grief can be one of the challenging. So in Parties you use storytelling to gently introduce the theme of love, grief, and loss. How do you see stories as a tool to help these children to into understanding and coping this with this such sensitive
So
emotions?
when we wrote, my daughter Dhwani and I got the idea. I got the idea and I shared it with Dhwani, and she said, "Ma, we have to write this." And Shobha Vishwanath of Color Details immediately said, "No, Janaki, this is a beautiful story. You must write it." We were also wondering whether we know what happens, because it is all about grief, about the party passing away. And we realized, and especially after the book released, and it's got so much of love and awards, and got in the it got nominated for so many awards. I think children are very, very sensitive, but they are also very smart, and they are very mature. They sometimes just need that little bit of understanding from the adults as well. So if we
Yeah.
treat them as children, but also treat them with that a tender, loving care, that they will also understand. So we've got so much love for this book that I'm glad that we did not change anything. We kept the emotion as it is. And there are children who have read the book and think, but my party is alive, and then they go and give the party a hug. Just 2 days back, a mother was saying that how the bond has increased between the granddaughter and the grandmother, because there's something they realize that they might not be always around, so they're holding on to them tightly. They're thinking about different recipes, special recipes that are there in these households. All of you, your house, my house, we all have a secret,
Yes.
a recipe which has been handed over generations. So the
Yes.
recipe that you said, Dhwani has really made sure that my mother's recipe of the rasam is what is there in the book, and the rasam powder, and exactly like how my mother,
Okay.
made the rasam. So
Yeah.
I think it helped a lot of parents. It is still helping a lot of children cope with their loss, because there are some untold emotions which
Mhm.
can be expressed, but that's where a book comes in very handy.
Yeah.
And mother and a child sit with a book, or a father and a child sit with this book, they're able to talk to each other
Mhm.
with the help of the book.
Yeah. Yes. So thank you so much for your insightful and thoughtful perspective of on using storytelling, how to navigate the difficult emotions. Actually, Party's Rasam is a treat, like how Party's Rasam become Malli's Rasam, and how Party kept her promises by sharing not just the Rasam Podi recipe and how to make it. So, and I love the song also, you and Miss Dhoni were singing, right? And when we read and when we watch you telling the story, it beautifully illustrates how stories can help children connect with love and memory, even in the face of loss.
Yeah.
So that is giving through that. That was amazing. So, ma'am, in today's world where families are often separated by distance, how can storytelling help bridge the generational gap, especially with grandparents?
So my daughter Dhwani grew up with both sides of grandparents, right? I mean,
Yeah.
my mother-in-law is with us, and my mother and father who was staying just across. So I think every day when Dhwani used to come back from school, she used to
Mm.
make a choice depending upon the menu as to which house she would go and have her lunch. And when she went
Okay.
to my mother's place, my father used to make sure, in those days there were only Cartoon Network and maybe NDTV. So he will
Mm.
make watch news, a little bit of tennis, a little bit of cricket, and then give the remote, for watching her cartoons. Why I'm
Okay.
bringing this up is that I think the way children interact with grandparents,
Mm.
it's, see, unconditional love is there, uh, between any grandparents and children, but you have to allow that to simmer, and you have to allow that bond to become even more thick. And how do
Yeah.
you do that? By also involving grandparents in, say, they
Yes.
say it takes a village to raise a child,
Yeah.
and we can't say no, I can do it myself. We can't do it,
Yeah.
especially, I was a working mother, and I'm still a working mother, right? And
Yeah.
you have to make sure, you have to ask for help, and
Mm.
grandparents are there to give help, but you need to also ask. And children are so happy. Grandparents are also strict. They are not going to spoil your child.
Yeah.
You can always say
Exactly.
he or she does not like this or whatever. So this constant communication,
Mm.
grandparents love telling grandkids about how their parents were, when they were young, how they didn't study well, or how they were naughty. So these are, what are these? These are all stories, no? So when you're
Yes.
able to interact with that child, so the child is automatically, then the child will come and say, ah, I know you never did very well in English class, or you were very naughty, you
Yeah.
climbed that mango tree. These, it only increases the bond. So
Yes.
if Dhwani today is an author, is a writer, is also because she was fed, I think I have fed her more stories than food. I think that's what I've done. But grandparents, I think, make sure that suppose the grandparents are not living with the child, right? When the
Yeah.
grandparents visit,
Yeah.
make that a huge, I keep telling parents and uh, children, teachers also, when they talk about it in school and all, we have to celebrate the grandparents coming,
Mm.
make sure even a book is read by the grandparent. That becomes an activity,
Yeah.
that becomes activity, so that it's only about the bond that keeps
Yes.
getting more and more intense and strengthened because of these kind of interactions.
Yes. So nowadays in school, no, ma'am, the grandparents' day is celebrated, so they can bring the grandparents to school, and they can grandparents also can involve in the activities like that. That also has
They're very
fostered.
happy to do
Yeah.
it, very happy.
Yeah, actually. And happy that you highlighting the role of storytelling also in connecting the generations, especially in Party's resume. Though the party is not there, but the things which she has told, she kept the promises, and also this going from generation to generation. And ma'am, lots of people have praised you for the song you have
Oh yeah.
sang now, and it's our we are delightful, and it's a great thing that you have sung now. Though my connections went wrong, so though everybody got a chance to listen that, yeah. So, what are some practical tips for parents to use storytelling into their daily lives, ma'am?
See, parents are constantly picking up the children or dropping them somewhere, and also maybe we can slowly introduce podcasts. There are so many podcasts. I've done one with Tulika. It's called. It's available on Spotify. Talking Tales with Tulika. There are
Oh,
so many
okay.
stories in that. There are multiple. Children also get used to the power of listening, not just
Yeah.
reading. I'm talking about
Mhm.
listening also. And then,
Yeah.
uh, don't ask how was your school. Open when the child comes back. They say,
Yeah.
"Did you have fun?" Or they will say yes.
Yeah.
They can say, "What did I keep in the lunch box for you?"
Mhm.
Or
Mhm.
did you? Was there something different that happened in school? Nudge them. You don't have to nudge them. They will come and want to tell you
Exactly.
this story. As a parent,
Exactly.
I think we need to be there to listen to them. I had
Yes.
to listen
Exactly.
to so many stories from Dhwani when she came
Yeah.
back from school. It was brilliant. I mean, somewhere, of course, she used to
With
give
masalas and
own words of
yeah.
story, which I encouraged.
Yeah.
You can't say, "Hey, never happened."
Right.
You encourage
Yeah.
them. It is a phase. They are also
Mhm.
going to grow. They're not,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
laugh at their way of cooking up stories. But that's very, very important. I think parents engaging, having a lot of stories about food, stories
Mhm.
about that rice on their plate comes from the farm. That's why we celebrate so many festivals. And
Yes.
parents are definitely, they if they feel that, okay, I don't have the time to tell a story, then sit with the book. just
Yeah.
just sit with the book, both of them. You can silently read also. You don't have to always narrate stories like I do, but
Yeah.
there's always, books are the easiest way, stories are the easiest way to
Yes.
bridge any
Yes.
gaps anywhere.
Yes, yes, and I'm grateful for your practical tips for parents. As a parent, I will also take those tips. And as you told, they just want us to listen. They want to say lots of things, and as you told, lots of cooking up and lots of imagination. They're only the creative and imaginative skills also developing. Thank you, ma'am. So, role do you think the schools can play in supporting parents to foster storytelling at home? And how can schools and parents collaborate in this?
So I think there are, and I have been going to so many schools, not just
Mm,
in Chennai, but Trichy, Madurai,
mm,
Kapoor. Everyone is doing wonderful work
yeah.
in terms of making sure that the parents, I do so many parent orientation workshops. Come month of
Okay.
June, I'm there
Okay.
in many schools to conduct workshops on how they can tell stories better,
Mm,
how they can how they can create stories. They can just give a
yes.
prompt. Say,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
I really wish if they say dot dot, the child will definitely
Yeah.
complete,
Yes.
and
Yes.
they because the school is also doing so much,
Mm,
they can do some activities which can be completed by the parents.
yeah.
Uh, so they will say that, why don't you go and ask your parents
Mm,
about this? They'll give
yeah.
only this much information. The rest they have to complete it
Yeah.
at home. And then, of course, they celebrate Grandparents' Day and for Sports Day, and they make sure that the parents come. They involve the parents. I think the moment you involve the parents, and I'm sure there are lots of these PTA meetings that happen, right?
Yes.
Where they nowadays I see that parents are both the parents are invested in
Yes.
understanding. It's not just most
Single. Yeah.
going because both of them are working. So both of them
Yes.
go
Yes.
and figure out how their child is doing, and there's keen interest because remember this initial years is what the child will also remember
Yeah.
that parents have invested. They came for their every annual day. You know,
Yes.
one annual day, and all the parents are in front taking pictures, even though the
Yeah.
school will say we are taking
No, we
picture.
will give provide the pictures.
So it is
Yeah.
why are parents so enthusiastic and so eager? That's because this is the first time that the child goes on stage, and it's a
Yes.
big thing, a stepping stone for a child to become confident, to become a
Yeah.
great communicator. So
Yes.
these are little milestones, and I think the
Yeah.
school and the parents are doing very well to celebrate every milestone, not
Yes.
single but milestones that matter. And
Yeah.
constant interaction between school and parents, saying that giving them feedback. It's not
Yeah.
that always the child is doing well. The
Yeah.
child could have learning difficulties.
Yes.
Reaching out to parents and parents reaching out to teachers, because remember the school can only do this much. They need the support of the
Yeah.
parents. Similarly, parents also should understand that yes, school can do this. We need to also help. So if it's a
Exactly. Yeah.
very beautiful relationship between parents and teachers, and if they can do it together, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it'll be so and I
Yeah.
think every school is doing a fabulous
Yeah.
job making
Yes.
sure. I'm so happy they are paying so much of importance on storytelling.
Yeah. Now
Celebrate
we also. Yeah.
author
Yeah.
week, book week. I don't know. I mean, the librarian. Oh,
Little. Yeah. Yeah.
if the teachers can even send them a list of books that the
Hmm.
child they can, and they can read out to their child, because a
Yeah.
library can cater only to so many students, right? And then
Yes.
a list of podcasts that the teachers can
Yeah. Yeah.
send. Anyway, WhatsApp groups are there. So if the
Yes.
teachers can say that we are doing this much, but can you continue doing this at home?
Yeah.
That
Exactly.
great way for schools and parents to work together.
Yeah, it's like a beautiful triangle,
Yes.
parents, teachers, and the child. Everybody are connected to each other. So, thank you for sharing your thoughts on school parent collaboration. And it's very crucial for creating and a supportive storytelling environment for the children. So, we came to the last question, ma'am. Based on your experience with schools, parents, and your own books, how have you seen storytelling shape children's emotional and social development?
See, take the example of parties rasam. So when I share the story, when the book has come out, 2022, I think, Neve
Mm,
Literature Festival, when we were shortlisted
yes,
also, there,
yeah.
there were children who had 10 years and 11 years, and they
Mm,
sat through, they heard our narration, they heard our reading, they heard the song, and after that, I chuma impromptu asked them a few questions, and there was
okay.
this boy who said, "Till date, I really don't like rasam." He was very very frank,
Okay.
but I
Okay.
am ask my party. I'm now very intrigued. I want my party to make rasam, and I am to eat rasam. Then another child walked up to me and said, "My party makes chicken curry very well. I am
Okay.
going to write that recipe and I'm going to keep it with me."
That's
So
great.
empathy that is built. The children are born with all of these qualities. We just
Yeah.
need to give them the space to grow. So they are
Yes.
empathetic. They're so beautiful. They're like cotton.
Yeah.
They're so vulnerable. And as parents, as teachers, as storytellers, if we can only give them that support and give them the opportunity to grow, by being a good listener, by, engaging them in conversations, asking them what is it you like. So, because social skills, empathy, listening skills, communication, all these are something that the parents and teachers can, work together with the child. It cannot just happen. You can't
Yes.
press a button, one day the child goes up and says,
Yeah.
"Read."
Yes, exactly.
It's all work in progress. We
Yeah.
ourselves are work in progress, right? We
Yes,
discover
yes, yes.
things that
Yes,
say, oh,
exactly.
actually this well, or maybe I could have done this better. So
Yeah, exactly.
children, definitely they have their social, they are full of empathy, they're full of curiosity. If you
Yeah.
keep feeding them, if you can help them stay curious, there's nothing more
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yes, exactly. So it is inspiring to see how narratives can enrich their lives. It's truly, and as you told, participation, not only the children, I feel there's no age, everybody were enjoying. And as I told you, I also learned a new method of, that's not our method, so a new method of how the rasam can be made. And many of them I would have learned now, but the rasam puri recipe only can get through the book parties rasam. You told only how to add the rasam podi, but recipe is there in the book. That also you were saying in there, right? Yeah. So. On behalf of Caprics, ma'am, I would like to extend a heartfelt thanks to you for joining us today. And half an hour, more than half an hour went like that, and it was amazing to talk to you. Not only like Gilli Amma as a storyteller, I'm really a big fan of you. As I told, I have met you in GC 2023, and from our office also, as a Gilli Amma, also lots of fans are there.
Thank
Okay,
you.
and yeah, and your insights on storytelling, empathy, inclusion, truly inspired us. It's an evidence that your passion for sharing stories not only enriches the lives of children but also foster deeper connection with families and communities. How you have told how the grandparents can be connected, how the family, how the parents can be connected, how the teachers and the students can be connected. We appreciate the time you took to share your journey and the wisdom you imparted. Thank you very much once again for enlightening the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
part of your edutech videos, and
Yeah.
all the
Thank you so much, ma'am. We are many more stories come from you, and we also, get inspired from you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
thank you so
Bye,
much.
ma'am. Bye.